thrilled to invite three founders who have come through some of the HITLAB competitions that you may have seen over the last couple of years or months even. First up, I'm thrilled to welcome onto the program today Lars Grieten from Fibricheck, who took part in one of our most recent Breakthrough Alliance challenges. Lars, are you there?
Yes, hi there. Hi, Jerry. Good to
Hi,
see you.
Lars. Good to see you. Good to speak with you today. We'd love to hear more about Fibricheck and the technology that you have there that's looking and focused on the diagnostics around cardiology. So if you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself and the technology around the PPG technology, in fact, and how it's currently sort of comparing to the more traditional methods around monitoring heart health right now.
Sure. So hi everyone, my name is Lars. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Fibricheck. We're a Belgian company that's in Europe, located in Europe. We've managed more than 1 million people there, and we just got FDA clearance entering the US market. What we have built is a software-based technology platform where we create medical devices at the tip of the finger, basically. And we combine software with AI to convert ordinary devices like smartphones, which is in the pocket of everyone, and also wearables, and actually extract optical data from those devices, PPG or photoplethysmography. And we apply that in cardiovascular domain, where we have a first application now released where we do cardiac arrhythmia monitoring. So we detect irregular heart rhythms. The most known one there is atrial fibrillation. It's caused strokes. It's resulting in heart failure. Morbidities and mortality significantly increases if you have this. But on the other side, it's not limited to that. It's also able to detect non-atrial fibrillation arrhythmias. And that actually distinguishes us from a PPG-based technology compared to others in the market. If you look at how does conventional care work, well, typically that is based on electrical signals, so the ECG from the heart. For that, you need a specific device. That can be a handheld device, that can be a patch that you put on, that's something implantable device that they put under the skin. And basically what we say is we do similar things, but without the need of hardware, just a device that you have in your pocket. And we do that with clinical accuracy that is on par with existing ECG diagnostics.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, if you are more curious about the way that that the technology works, Lars did a terrific presentation at one of the, like I said, competitions that we held, and that's available on our YouTube channel. And congratulations, of course, Lars, on the recent FDA clearance. It's fantastic news, and certainly helps in your continued development. But I'm sure there was some very key challenges that you guys faced, developing this medically certified tool. And we'd love to hear a bit more about how you overcame those challenges in your development.
Sure. The experience that we had from a software as a medical device perspective, I would say there are three barriers that we had to solve. One is access, make sure that you're getting on the market. Secondly, is make sure that your technology gets accepted by the clinicians and the physicians. And thirdly, it's the adoption. How do you ensure that it's been adopted by clinicians and patients on the other side? Market access, there is a regulatory watchdog there. That's FDA in the US, that's CE clearance in Europe. That is a lengthy process to go through. There is no shortcuts. There's no way of jinxing it. It's really burdening through the process. Key challenges that we had there is how do you make sure that a device that's in your pocket is actually capable of getting this highly clinical grade signal in an uncontrolled condition, whilst patient variability is extremely high and device variability is extremely high as well. And that's where we had to do a lot of AI, a lot of validation work, a lot of clinical testing, but also real world data collection to really prove that that's on par. The acceptance part, that's more a lengthy process. It doesn't mean that if you're approved that physicians therefore trust you. And that's a process where you need to do a lot of publications. We now have more than 90 peer-reviewed publications on our technology out there. That's really supporting us in the backing. We got some guideline recommendations in Europe for this type of technology. US, we're really building on that forward. And then thirdly is adoption. That's making sure that there's reimbursement because clinicians have an economic model that needs to work around that. But two, that your patients are also actually using it. And that means that you need to deliver the value, but also the usability to drive such a product. And since we're talking about elderly, this is not like the young, healthy, wealthy that is very sportive, but it's like grandpa, grandma who uses the phone to get WhatsApp messages from their grandchildren. That's the audience that we work with.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think some real barriers that you guys had to face. You mentioned around about some of the AI algorithms and things that you guys had to implement. We'd love to hear a bit more about the those algorithms that you implemented to improve the accuracy and efficiency of Fibricheck, especially when detecting some of those conditions that you're focused on around AF. And you know, we'd be glad to hear about some of the results you've seen so far.
Yeah, the AI models that we've created are very advanced for the type of technology we're using. So the phone is considered like a dumb data collection device. There's no magic trick that's happening. It's just getting the data it gets. The AI needs to determine, is this data set I receive sufficiently clinically great? And that has different layers that it needs to pass through, different checkpoints that passes through. One is data signal quality. How do we actually differentiate bad quality data from real clinical events? So that is one layer of the algorithm that's really focused and really trained to make sure that's possible. Secondly is how you actually get the right information out of there. That not only the algorithm can see things, but also the human can actually verify what the algorithm is seeing. So that makes it interpretable. So the AI needs to be interpretable. That's a second layer that's very critical because if we give an output, the physician actually can assess the output. And that's crucial in clinical decision making. And thirdly is how does the algorithm actually decide what is present and how does it actually highlight what is present? And those are the three layers there. To build that model, when we started out 8 years ago with this, we were scrappy, dirty performance, but now we built this up with training the algorithms based on our real world data. So the latest model has been trained on more than 1 million data sets from more than 100,000 users. And that means that there's a very high a spectrum of different patient profiles ranging from skin tone, from obesity, from cardiovascular disease burden. That's all represented in that large population. And then you actually start validating this in clinical studies, and then you see that the performance is really state of the art and industry leading in what we're doing.
No, that's really fantastic. I think those are some really great results to have seen, and you know, some major milestones that you mentioned. I'd like to sort of guide the direction now to sort of hear from you some of the feedback that you guys have got from the healthcare professionals that have been using Fibricheck. That's super important, of course, because one of the things that Fibricheck does is to really help with these sort of existing workflows, especially for the physicians that are giving and analyzing these kinds of diagnoses. So, what kind of feedback have you heard from those healthcare professionals that have been using the solution, and talk about the usability and effectiveness of it?
So the initial response when you introduce such a device to a clinician is that they are surprised that a phone is capable of doing this. So there's a lot of disbelief. So there's first a trust building process in there. Then you see like they start dipping their toes in the water. How does it actually work? They pilot it out, they try it out. Then they start to see, this is actually quite scalable and actually works very efficient because there's no device logistics involved anymore. I can now manage more patients for the same amount of effort. And then they start to see the data that it generates over time, providing them with new insights they did not have before. And then they understand, this really has a benefit on my pathway. And then you start to understand that there's not one pathway they use, but they're like 20 different clinical pathways. And then you start to see how they start adopting that, how they actually bring that to scale. The largest clinics we have manage between 1,500 and 2,000 patients per year on the platform. So that's really high volume, high throughput. But then you see that it also starts to drive clinical decisions. And then they start to track the metrics, how it actually benefits their practice. And then you see your cost saving, your time saving, your reduction in healthcare utilization. They can triage their resources more efficiently. And that actually drives then reimbursement discussions in the European continent, where we actually got reimbursements for the solution that we have. And US, there's already reimbursement in place. So there's like a value add that we really capture by starting small, building it up. And when it's the economics of scale that really benefit this program, that's where we strive towards.
No, that's really amazing, and I think really benefiting both the patients and the physicians. To really improve the way that this diagnosis is being done right now. Lars, thanks so much for coming on. It's such a
You're
pleasure.
welcome.
It's amazing to see how far you guys have grown in the last year or so, especially since you guys participated in the Breakthrough Challenge. Congratulations on your recent FDA clearance. That's really fantastic news, and we look forward to hearing more great news about Fibricheck and hopefully having you back on the program. And if you are going to be there in May for the summit, it'd be great to see you in person. And I welcome you to also stay on after you hop off video here. I think there's some questions for you in the chat if you'd like to answer them
Perfect.
as well via text. But
I'll do.
Lars, it's a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for the opportunity, Jerry. Bye-bye.
Wonderful.